Support your locals, starting with Space Smoke Shop, located on 125 East Pennington Street, Tucson, Arizona. Space Smoke Shop. Local glass, cheap tobacco, any drink you can think of. We're also a hookah lounge and a venue. Like us on Facebook to keep up with shows, deals, and new products.
And Punk Rock Tuesday. Every second and fourth Tuesday. It's Punk Rock Tuesday. Woo!
Be sure to tell them you heard about it on the GMR Podcast. See you soon.
GMR. 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 GMR.
GMR Podcasting.
The GMR Podcast with Gene Mott and Marty Catola, episode 2043. 43, not 2043.
We're getting to that one. Countdown commences. We only have about 9 podcasts left till the 1-year anniversary of GMR Podcast, which is kind of mind-boggling. But the show has gone through many changes, ups and downs. Ray almost was here today.
We heard from him. Let's imagine he is here. We'll just cut in Ray comments.
He's out there making the big bucks.
Woo!
So I had something I was talking about, and I said, I can recreate that for the podcast.
We were talking about Star Wars action figures.
Oh, it was because I think they burned that guy on Comic Book Man, because I thought those figures were worth more than that. And you said that somebody stole your Princess Leia at one point.
Oh, yeah, somebody stole my Princess Leia when I was, Maybe we shouldn't try and recreate the conversation we had earlier. Come up with a new conversation. So we just watched another episode of Star Trek the Animated Series, which was pretty awesome.
It was about a cloud that ate planets. No, not Galactus from the Silver Surfer movie, but an earlier cloud.
It was basically the plot from the first movie, wasn't it?
Well, that was V'ger.
Yeah, wasn't V'ger like sucking up planets?
It was just sending out some kind of transmission, wasn't it?
I don't know. Then why was it so urgent that they stop it?
That movie really has never made a whole lot of sense to me.
Gonna have to rewatch that one.
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, you're gonna have to.
With all the costumes and I think it's been a while.
That's what's distracting.
All the costumes and the set changes when they could have just went with, it was a whole new Enterprise. It was basically in
late 70s
in
Enterprise.
that 10 years that they hadn't been on television. They had made a lot of changes at Starfleet, like a lot. Everybody got a lot older, obviously 10 years older, and they created the new ship, the new costumes, the whole deal.
And it's only 5 years after the cartoon ended.
Which is classic.
Star Trek animated series. It's not like it once was where you could not find it readily available.
Had to buy it at the Comic-Con.
VHS.
Oh, VHS.
Dubbed about 30 times.
I'm looking forward to getting that. I've got to get the Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie. It has to happen this year.
Just as soon as you started looking for that stuff, I see no more bootleg DVD stands at the cons.
Well, you know, we've only been to one con We've only been to one con where we haven't seen it.
Oh, next week is Tucson Comic Con. We will be coming to you from the con. You'll be getting Tucson Comic Con highlights in 2 weeks from us on show 45.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm totally looking forward to Comic Con. We're only gonna do one day this year because I think we can do it all in one day. I don't know if there's going to be any special events. I don't know what they posted. We should probably look that up, figure out what the fuck's going on at Tucson Comic Con. Maybe Stan Lee's going to be there.
It's the 6th annual.
And this will be our 3rd Tucson Comic Con.
Yep, looks like a lot of people in costumes.
There are going to be people in costumes. What's that, some original artwork we can buy or what?
Yep.
Wow. That guy's going to be there. And that dude and this chick, don't know who that is. Costume contest. What one is that? We should definitely try and catch the costume contest.
It will be held 6 p.m. on Saturday.
Well, fuck. That's perfect for us.
Entry fee, just one new unwrapped toy.
What?
That's if you're entering the contest.
Oh. Costume contest. I don't think they had that last year.
No, they're stretching out.
And this guy's going to be there. And that person, Lady Death.
Robert that's one of the things Robert is obsessed with. And if Robert was here, he would probably talk to this guy.
What's that guy's name?
Brian Pulido.
Arizona Avengers. Arizona's Mightiest Heroes. JLA.
Z.
AZ. Yep. And the Arizona Ghostbusters. Those guys make all the cons. The Mos Eisley base. The Rebel Legion is going to be there as well. Well, that's good to know. Looks pretty happening.
Yeah. What time does it start?
That's going to be a long day.
10 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Ooh.
$8 for your day pass, $10 for your weekend pass.
Damn. I think I think I could best use that extra $2 to buy Roger Corman's Fantastic Four.
Yeah. Did you book the room at the Hyatt?
Oh, I wish. We could totally do it up. Make it feel like
What it must be like to live down the street from Phoenix Comic Con. You don't have to get a room. You just walk over.
Walk home. You miss a lot of excitement, though. I think being in the hotel adds to the whole... There's a bar. There's people gaming 24 hours a day.
Which I was surprised Brady didn't partake in. I could have sworn he was going to break from the group and obsessively play card games for the whole weekend.
Yeah, instead he wanted to sleep.
Didn't happen once. Yeah, a lot of sleeping. Too much sleeping for my tastes.
Yeah, we got to figure out a way to stay up longer. You're not that good, though, when you get real cranky.
Yeah.
When you get sleepy.
18-hour days and waiting 45 minutes for a slice of pizza.
So you think it's... Not only did you think the pizza in the...
It was better.
Better, but it was much quicker.
It was quicker. You pay almost $10 for a slice, but damn, you get it right then. And it's about the size of a quarter of a pizza, so...
Boom, boom, hook up. Don't have to walk a mile, wait.
That's what you take that extra money up there for, ballpark prices. It's like, fuck it, I'm here, they got me. Give me a $10 slice of pizza. But I'm not buying black water, though.
Black water.
Expensive.
It always gets back to
decaf.
black water.
It really does.
What are you doing on Halloween? You and Ray are getting together.
I guess so, because Ray said he's getting a tablet on Halloween. Ray will enter the world of having a tablet, then we can sit here and stare at him while he's not paying attention. So that'll be good.
Oh, maybe if I'm really bored next Thursday, maybe I'll stop by.
Yeah, I mean, not doing anything, so.
See Ray's new tablet.
Mm-hmm. No, yes. See, there's that issue.
Yeah, yes. Uh-huh.
It's one of the nice things about the podcast. It tells you if you're saying the same things over and over again, like which isn't even a word. So I'm learning to use my words.
That's good, Marty.
It is good. It's about time.
Yeah, you're no spring chicken anymore.
I've been doing this almost 24 years.
Yeah.
It's time to learn how to use my words.
You've been doing this more of your life than you've not been doing it.
That's very true. Especially if you count carrying around a boombox at age 11.
Yeah, we're going to have to make some drops out of that. Make little special clips.
It's that stuff and the cult cast. We have hours and hours of future podcast materials. 2014, we'll start seeing some of that stuff sprinkled in. Embarrassing moments of the past, now yours to keep in digital clarity for free.
Forever. Keep it in the cloud. It's in the cloud
Yeah,
right now.
Put it in your cloud.
Oh, you can put it in your personal cloud?
So,
Well, what? Oh, you go.
I tweeted out the podcast yesterday. And within 3 hours, we'd gotten 10 additional hits. Now, for us, that's doubling the listenership, so it's a big deal. We'll see if any of those listeners continue after last week's episode. But we have our solid fan base of people that always listen to the show. They download it or listened to both podcasts from last week in equal numbers. So that was gratifying because I was afraid one of them would get swallowed up and forgotten about.
You didn't release them back to back?
Yeah, I did. And they still got plenty of hits. 42 went up on Sunday night.
Cool. That is a fast turnover.
Yeah, maybe 41 was so popular because it was about all those popular topics.
Ah. Like, Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Oh, that show's just hilarious.
Placebo.
He totally forgot how to say it. Whereas just a few days ago, he was saying it sounding perfectly coherent.
He was listening to audiobooks and Beethoven at the same time.
It's only one more of those left.
Oh, yeah. Too short of a season.
And then we have to wait till next fucking summer.
I know, that's crazy. It seems like that just started up.
Yep. Yes, sir. What about the Big Bang Theory?
Yeah, we still have at least another 14 or so of that to go.
Oh, I've been watching the new Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's was there a character called Scorch? There must have been. There
is now. If there wasn't, there is now.
So they actually had a guy who could do a Human Torch thing, and then it's interesting. I don't know. It's going somewhere. There's 22 episodes of that, so.
I saw the ratings dropped off on that a little bit.
Yeah.
But at least it's still on, unlike things like We Are Men, canceled after 2 episodes. Ouch.
You know, there must be half a dozen episodes they already had in the can.
Just like that How to Be a Gentleman show. I think that lasted longer.
Yeah, that's a show that went through a lot of changes. I totally like that show. I wish that show would come back. Because what are those guys doing right now? The one guy's still writing for Always Sunny in Philadelphia. What about the other dude, the bacon dude?
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's up to. Oh, Kevin Dillon, you mean?
Okay. Kevin Dillon, the Dillon kid. He's not a kid. Well, I remember when he was a kid.
Yeah. Starring in movies like the Blob remake.
Oh, what was that movie with Christy McNichols?
Well, there's only a handful of those, so we can narrow that down.
But there are 2 brothers. Who was the other brother?
Matt Dillon.
That was a Matt Dillon movie.
So you're thinking of The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia, probably. Or Little Darlings. Little Darlings. I actually have a copy of that. It's only on VHS, that movie, I think. I think it might be one of those you can order directly from the manufacturer. But
no.
Yeah, that one's quite obscure. That's another movie I had an obsession with when I was about 7. Probably shouldn't have been watching that movie at that age, but that's what happens when you have one cable channel coming into your house, like I talked about a few weeks ago, the movie channel.
You just watched whatever was on.
Yeah.
You didn't this movie's going to suck, or fuck, I don't want to watch that.
It's another movie. Watch it.
It was a movie, and you're paying for this shit, so you might as well watch it. And there would only be so many new movies a month. You remember, the HBO used to have their own separate guide they'd send you?
Yeah.
And you look through, and you'd see all the freaking movies you wanted to see, and they were you knew it was on every day.
Trying to set the timer on the VCR. Heavy Metal's on at 4 a.m. One time this month.
Yeah, I miss those days. That's when TV was important.
Well, there wasn't a DVR. If you didn't know how to properly set your timer on your VCR, and most people didn't, shit, even I got it wrong half the time, and I knew what I was doing, then you didn't get to see these programs. But even before then, we didn't have cable. We just had this little box, and you flipped the switch, and then that one movie channel would come on. There wasn't any other cable channels to go with it. was just this pay channel that would show Electric Horseman and Apocalypse Now over and over.
So you had like a satellite on your house?
No,
No?
it was some form of cable, but it was just a little box that sat next to the TV that had a little switch on it. This was still late 70s, early 80s, so...
That wasn't here.
Primitive technology, no, that was on the East Coast.
Okay, because, yeah, I don't remember anything like that.
Came out here, and then it was like, oh, cable television. You can...
Well, we didn't get the cable television here till like 1984, at least where the part of town I lived in. Like, it, you know, they put it in different parts of town.
Yeah, I was on the northwest side in 82, so we had it there.
That's the first time I ever saw professional wrestling. That was like around the time Hulk Hogan won his first title.
That would be on like the WGN, the WOR, and channels like that, right?
I think it was on USA.
That makes sense.
And they also had the
sense.
Madison Square Garden channel where they showed like all the matches from Madison Square Garden, which was pretty cool. But like wrestling was pretty shitty back then. I don't know if any of you know, most people aren't old enough to remember it because I'm so old. I'm like 106 now. No, wait a minute. Did I tell you I forgot how old I was last week? Was that part of the conversation? All right, I'm not 106, but wrestling, yeah, they used to have these guys that on WWF that were just horrible, horrible workers, and you could tell these guys have been wrestling for like 30 years, and I can't see how they ever made a dime, but somehow they were still, like half the card was these guys. And then you had your Don Moroccos and Jimmy Snukas and guys like that. Andre the Giant, but those guys, there's only a few matches with those guys. Half the fucking card was just these guys that just horrible. Nobody'd watch that shit today.
Yeah,
Nobody.
to fill up the time. Well, back
Just-
then, they wanted anything to fill up the time on cable.
I used to go to TV tapings for wrestling where they'd tape 4 wrestling matches or 4 shows in a row, and they'd have like 4 snake pits with Jake the Snake Roberts and shit like that. You'd see the same like preliminary matches, the same guys over and over. You'd see them wrestle the exact same match that they wrestled on TV last week. It's fucking crazy.
Well, that's what you want, you know. You go see a band, you expect to hear those songs. So you go see a match, you want to see the same match you just saw on television.
I saw Mick Foley when he was a rookie, still called Mick Foley, like just getting his ass, you know, just jobbing out. You know what that means, right?
What does that mean?
That means when you just, you know, that guy's going to lose. Like Hulk Hogan versus the guy you've never heard of. You know what I'm saying? Who's going to win that match? You think that guy you never heard of, maybe he's going to come up and he's going to beat? No.
Now, what I remember was there was a cartoon.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to see those cartoons. So
What was that called?
Wasn't Rock and Wrestling. I don't.
Oh,
It might have been.
that sounds familiar.
It's like that was where like all the heels lived in one house. You know what heel means, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yes.
all the baby faces. Even though we didn't know back then, that's what they were called. That's when wrestling was still considered real, even though they're fucking cartoons, right? Putting on the worst matches. Hulk Hogan would go out there and punch a guy, and sometimes he's like 6 inches away from the guy's face, and the guy's just selling it. You know what I mean? Hit the guy in the face a little bit. That's all I'm asking. A little bit. Oh,
Yep.
Wrestling could be horrible.
Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling.
Oh, that sounds right.
It was on CBS Saturday mornings,
Wonder how
right
many
after like
episodes.
the Q*bert cartoon and shit like that I was obsessed with.
And they each, I think each side had like a special car, and they'd all get in the car and they go do shit. Like Jimmy Snuka's going out, and they were. I don't remember the premise of the show,
I don't either.
but I'm pretty sure it made no fucking sense.
Probably not. I don't think it was even as coherent as Wacky Races or something like that. Laugh Olympics. I also really liked that Dragon's Lair cartoon.
Oh, yeah.
I was obsessed with that video game. That and Space Ace.
Did you ever beat it?
I did.
Yeah.
When they put it out on DVD, it was an interactive game that you could play with the remote control.
Is that
And,
right?
Yeah, and
Wow.
I beat it.
That sounds like fun, dude. Because basically it was it was a Laserdisc game.
Yeah. You just follow where the thing's telling you to point and you can't lose.
One of those, well, there were signals, I guess,
Yeah.
in the game. But
It
mostly,
flashes.
yeah, I think mostly I just learned through trial and error. And that's a lot of money. You
Yeah,
know
I
what
wasted
mean?
a lot of quarters dying as soon
Boom,
because I didn't
first
go in
thing.
the castle
Yeah, the very
correctly.
first thing. Ching, 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 ching.
The skeleton that falls apart and shit.
And Space Ace, I think by then, fuck, I wish I could remember all the games that I used to play back then.
Yeah, I had Dragon's Lair cards. At one point in the 80s, I was trying to make a list of every video game that I could think of.
Yeah.
It was somewhere up in the numbers of 200 and something. Every time I'd see a new arcade game, I'd write it down.
I wish you had that list
Yeah,
still.
I have no fucking clue where that
See,
went.
this is where filing cabinets would be. Of course, you're probably the only guy that could have kept that over all these years.
Watch I find that one day. No, that's probably been gone for 20 years or more. I was obsessed with the Atari 2600 unit well into the mid-'80s when a lot of other people had completely abandoned the machine. It's because I didn't have one, and I got one later on.
Remember Pit Fighter?
It sounds familiar.
It was like the first digital, like, they take a picture of somebody. The guys looked actually like real guys. It was like a 3-player fighting game, maybe 2-player. Pit Fighter.
I remember Pitfall. And I
Totally,
remember
totally different genre.
Dragonfire.
Oh, one of my favorite games was Journey Escape.
Oh, Journey Escape, yes. You're running up the screen.
There's a place in town called D&D Pinball. We should probably go check out sometime.
Did you ever play the Journey Escape arcade game?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Because they had the Atari version as well.
Oh, I don't remember that. I'm sure it was horrible.
Another one I liked was Tempest,
Oh yeah,
where you spin the thing around.
that's one of the few games that actually holds up. Oh, what was another one of those games that used that controller?
The Star Wars arcade game.
The Star Wars arcade game. Are you talking about the one where
You're blowing up the Death Star.
Yeah, and you have to take out the towers and...
Yeah, occasionally you'd see a sit-down version of it where you'd get inside of it.
Oh yeah, I'm only really familiar with the sit-down version. That shit was awesome. That still holds up, I would think.
Apparently,
Use the Force, Luke.
there was a few. Yeah, exactly. There was a few Empire Strikes Back ones that you'd shoot at AT-ATs, and they retrofitted the old sit-down ones for it. But there wasn't nearly as many of those manufactured as the Star Wars ones.
I remember I was pretty excited about the Empire Strikes Back video game for the Atari.
Oh, yeah, and all you do is just fly around.
And you got to shoot the flashing thing.
That's funny. On one of those tapes I made when I was 11, I recorded the sound of the beginning of that game about 30 times in a row. Just because I liked the little jingles that it made.
We need to start making money off this podcast.
Well, we can start getting more hits, and they're coming.
Yeah, we need to set up
People might actually want to invest
a
in it.
donation box or some shit.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to figure out how to get that Kickstarter going. I think we're going to have to do more work before we can get a movie theater. I think we're going to have to find out what it would have to cost, what it looks like, Got my man TC on it.
And GMR Tuesdays.
Oh, yeah, I think GMR Tuesdays.
Or we just played GMR episodes in the
smoke shop?
in the movie theater.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
Stare at a blank screen.
No, we could show something. We could do all kinds of things.
Just put the logo up
We
there.
own a fucking movie theater.
That's right.
I think this side of town, we'd make a fucking killing. We're so close to the university.
Well, the loft gets all that midtown business.
Nah, it does now. I'm talking 5 years from now, and we've established ourselves.
Now, would you want the Catalina or the Century Park?
Oh, I'd want the Catalina. It's right there. It's a classic building. Go to the comic book store.
That Jimmy John's would deliver?
They would definitely deliver. They could be like the loft. That's where they get their pizza from, at some place.
Oh, yeah. You can order Jimmy John, and we'll bring it into the theater to you.
That's right.
That's what we need is an Alamo Draft House in Tucson. very fancy movie theater.
Anybody who donates to the Kickstarter gets like free popcorn, or they instantly become members, like the Loft. We turn it into a non-profit. Boom. We're just making money. Oh, somebody sent you a tweet. Maybe Howard's Foot.
GMR.
GMR Podcast. Check it out. Woo!
GMR. 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 GMR.